alone. Shit. Nah, not a problem. So I will just remove this. So I will start from scratch. So what we are doing is, so you can see my VirtualBox window. I'll be using this to install CentOS 7 operating system. So at first we will prepare so to install an operating system, we need a hardware, right? So on VirtualBox, we will create virtual hardware now. Okay. So I'm clicking on new, and I will select CentOS 7. Okay. So the type is Linux and version is Red Hat 64-bit. So as I was mentioning to myself by keeping myself on mute. So what I was telling
Ati,
was,
have you started video recording?
yes, it is live streaming on YouTube. So I should be able to see it once this is done. Yeah. So next, so here I'm giving memory. This is the RAM. So I will be giving it around 2 GB. Okay. So this will consume 2 GB from my physical RAM. My physical RAM is around 8 GB. So I'm allocating 2 GB from it to this operating system. Next. Now we are creating a virtual hard disk. Create. Next. Dynamically allocated and fixed size. So the difference between dynamically allocated and fixed size is, so for hard disk, so when you buy a laptop or even a phone, so you get a memory, right, to store files. That is, ideally for phones you get around 30 GB or 60 GB, or at high-end phones you might get 120 GB. So here, when you buy laptops, you get around if it is SSDs, you might get around 200 GB or 150, or if it is normal SATA hard disk, then you might be getting around 500 GB or 1 TB hard disk. So when you choose the option of dynamically allocated, what happens is, next if I give here 40 GB, I will be giving 40 GB here. Okay, 40 GB. Okay. So what in I have chosen the option of dynamically allocated, not fixed size. If I choose fixed size and if I give you 40 GB, it will directly consume 40 GB from my hard disk from my laptop. It will directly consume 40 GB. But if I choose dynamically allocated, what it does is, it will consume the size that is needed for the installation of the CentOS 7 operating system and its files. So it will only consume to that extent. For example, the operating system might consume around 4 GB, let's suppose. So, and if I give 40 GB here, if I give 40 GB here, and if the installation of the operating system consumes 4 GB, so 36 GB will be still be freely available for both the underlying my host operating system, and this is the guest operating system that we are. The CentOS 7 is the guest operating system. So 36 GB will be available for host and guest both. But if you choose fixed option, um, here if you choose fixed size, what happens is, it will directly consume 40 GB from my host operating system. So the 40 GB will be taken away from my host operating system by the guest operating system. So click on create. So now basically what it did is, it created an underlying hardware configuration. So the operating system is not yet installed. We just prepared the hardware configuration, on top of which we will install uh, the CentOS 7 operating system. Okay. So now I will go to settings, click on storage. I'm clicking on here controller ID empty, and here I am clicking on this icon, choose a disk file. Okay. And from here I will go to my Zen downloads folder, and here I will pick the minimal ISO image that I downloaded. I believe I already shared the link in the WhatsApp group. If not, I will share it again. Okay. I should be somewhere. Just a second. The link is this. I will try to put it in the chat. Where is it? So the link that was shared yesterday to download you might not be uh, that is of different architecture. That so you might face some issues if you try to install that. So this is of x86 and 64 architecture. Most of the latest laptops and hardware configuration is x86 and 64 architecture, the processors. So you should be able to install it without any issues. So let me put it in the chat. So that's the link for the CentOS 7 iOS image, which I already downloaded. So now let me get back to the VirtualBox. So in the settings, I already picked it under the storage. If you see, I went here and I choose a disk, and I have chosen the CentOS 7 image that I already downloaded, the iOS image. Okay. So now this is like inserting your bootable pen drive, which has the operating system software, or else it is similar to inserting the DVD, the operating system DVD. It is similar to that, the step that we have done here. Okay. So if you see here network, so this is like Ethernet adapter. Okay. And USB. So this is all virtual hardware. Okay. And system, if you go here, I have given 2 GB. So likewise, so let it be. So now let's click on start. Now the installation should begin. Okay, so the first option is install CentOS 7. Okay, I'm pressing enter. All of you are able to hear my voice and see the screen.
Yes.
Cool. CentOS and Red Hat and Ubuntu, these are widely used Linux server operating systems in the what do you say in the companies for the servers. So welcome to CentOS 7, it says, and it is asking me to pick the language. Click on continue. So here you see the mouse. You have clicked the mouse inside virtual machine display. So press the host key. The host key is currently defined as right control. So what happens is once I click capture, the mouse will enter into the virtual box, into this operating system, CentOS 7 operating system, and the mouse will not be available for the host operating system. So CentOS 7 is your guest operating system. The mouse will enter into the arrow that you see on the screen will enter into. Once I click on capture, it will enter into the CentOS 7. If you want to bring it out, you have to press right control, the control button to the right of your keyboard. Okay. So now it entered. So continue. So we are in London. So you can choose depending upon the country you're from. If you're from India, you can choose India. If you're from we are from Europe. London, where is London? Yeah, here it is. Okay. Done. Click on done on top. Okay. So now, yeah. So here, going forward, your automatic partitioning is selected. You can actually create partitioning as well, but for time being, let's not delve into it because you might feel a bit too much at the moment. Let's click on it and let's select this. Just double click on it. That's all. Make sure this tick mark you can see. If there is no tick mark, what it does is node is selected. So just make sure the tick mark is there. Okay. partitioning, automatically configure partitioning. You can configure the partitioning yourself as well, but we will see it maybe, hopefully, if we have time at a later stage. So now you can see we can begin the installation. Click on begin installation. The network also, you can see network Ethernet. So this is the Ethernet card. You can see, you can click on. So now it is connected. I mean, you can put a host name. Host name. This is like the server name. So what shall we give to this? We will name it as CentOS server 1. So you can give any name. Okay, apply. So change the name. So click on done. So begin installation. So yeah, so we can create a normal user, and so whenever you create any operating system, irrespective of whether it is Windows or Linux operating system, it's CentOS. So if you take Windows, a default user will be created, that is administrator. Okay, he has all the, what do you say, permissions and privileges to perform all the operations in the operating system. Similarly, when it comes to Linux operating system, root is the user account. The name of the username is root. So he is the administrator. He is also called as super user. What it means is he has all the privileges and permissions to do anything within the operating system. Okay, and user creation, we can create a normal user as well. So for the root user, I will set a password. You can set a good complex password. I'm saying just using a palindrome. Uh, yeah, that's fine. So I'm creating a normal user. You can use a complex password, and you can use your own username. So this is a normal user, but we are giving some administrative privileges as well, but not he's even though he's the normal user that I created, the Karthik user account, even though he's an administrator, but he will not have all the super privileges as the root user. So ideally, it is suggested not to log in with root user account, because he has all the permissions within the system. So especially in the servers, you will not log in as a root user. And sometimes if you try to log in as root user, it will be escalated, and you might face some issues. So ideally, in most of the servers, when you are working in companies, it is advised to not log in using the root user account. Use a normal user who has administrative privileges. I created a normal user with administrative privileges. So right now the installation is still continuing. Let it continue. Okay. So meanwhile, I will try to recap what we have done yesterday. Okay, and let it continue the installation. So let's get back to the slide and let's try to recap what we covered yesterday. So right now you see the mouse is inside. So to bring it out, I have to press. So you see, I'm trying to move it to the corners, and but it is not coming out, the mouse. So to bring it out, I have to press right control on my keyboard. So now you can see it is out of it. Okay. So let's try to recap yesterday's session. So what is Linux and why do we need it? As I mentioned yesterday, Linux is an operating system. It is widely used for servers. The supercomputers still use Linux-based operating systems. You can Google it and see for yourself. Okay. So why the name Linux? Because any operating system, whether it is Windows or Linux, basically the operating system is nothing but a software. Okay. So any operating system is nothing but a software, and it is the components of the operating system are kernel and shell and user level applications. If you take any architecture of any operating system, kernel, shell, and user applications are common. So especially we are concentrating on Linux operating system. So kernel is the core component. So these are the subcomponents of the operating system: kernel, shell, and user applications. So the component kernel It's a software which interacts with the hardware and allocates the hardware resources to the user level applications. Okay, so kernel is the one which interacts with your keyboard, mouse, USB ports, audio, display, RAM, CPU, hard disk, all the hardware components. Kernel is the software component within the operating system which will interact with these hardware components. So this kernel is created by a guy called as, especially for Linux, was created by a guy called as Linus Torvalds. He's from Finland and he's from Helsinki University. He's the guy who created it in 1991, and he donated the kernel to GNU project, and it is released under GPL license, so which is an open source license. So it means the Linux kernel software is free. So this is like the heart of the operating system, and because the shell and the user level applications can be created by anyone and they were already available. So the kernel was created by him, and over a period of time from 1991 until now, the thousands of the programmers across the world, many programmers started contributing to the code of the kernel. You can see it online, you can search for kernel, there is a dedicated website to it, and you can see the versions of the kernel. The latest version of the kernel, you can see Linux kernel. So you can see, so the latest version is, stable version is 602. Okay, so 602 is the latest version of stable. Are you able to see my screen and follow me?
Yes, Karthik.
Yes.
Yes,
That
Karthik.
being said, okay, so now, so Linux is a multi-user and multitasking operating system. What do you mean by multi-user? Multiple users can log into the system. So remotely, if there are 10 users, 10 users can remotely connect to the system and perform their operations separately. So multitasking, multiple tasks can parallelly run on it. It is more secure because uh, you can customize it from the scratch. The security, you can do it from at a very underlying level. You can configure the security for it, firewall or much more. There is concept called as SC Linux, and it is more stable. It supports almost any type of hardware platform. So the Linux kernel, it is used in it is used in microcontrollers, the small, even in mobile, the Android operating system that you use, it is based on Linux kernel. The Android operating system, it is also a kind of Linux operating system. So it is based out of Linux. And yeah, all the servers use it, and in embedded systems also it is used, as I said, microcontrollers and all that. Okay, so some of the recent discovered vulnerabilities related to the kernel are shell shock and ghost glib. So I created this slide long back, so they might not be the recent vulnerabilities, so they might be old vulnerabilities. Okay, so this is some of the concepts that I covered yesterday. I hope this acts kind of a recap for those who missed the session yesterday, and kind of rejigs your memory. Okay, so let's see where we are with in terms of installation. Okay, the installation is still ongoing. Any questions so far?
Hello,
Yeah,
Karthik.
yeah.
I can't able to download this Virtualbox.
Okay.
Again, it was telling me, just give me 1 minute. Do you want to allow app to make a changes on your device? I said yes.
Can you take a screenshot and put it in the WhatsApp group?
Yeah, just give me one. Yeah.
Did Arun join the session?
No, I have no idea.
Who is the fellow Jitser? Let's hope I'm live streaming it. Let's hope this is all recorded in YouTube. unlike yesterday we missed the session. So Vishnu, you can share it on the WhatsApp group, the screenshot of it, so that I can help you. And
Yeah, just
if you have
one.
any issues, just ping me. We can connect remotely, and you
Yep.
can share your screen, and I will guide you through the installation process. Initially, we need the basics are important because the fundamentals, if they are strong, uh, you can build on top of it on your own. So the fundamentals have to be strong. You can pick up on the other concepts on your own once the fundamentals are strong. So try to spend as much as time at initial stages, taking notes or taking screenshots while the session is going on.
Karthik, I shared your picture. First one.
Okay.
I'm gonna send you one more also.
Well, why is it taking too much time? We have chosen a minimal operating system, but yet it is taking a lot of time to complete the installation. Okay. Oracle VirtualBox needs to. Oh, okay. C++ redistributable package is installed. I think you need to install the package, the C++, Microsoft Visual C++. You can download it over internet and you have to install it. So, okay, it's Microsoft. Okay, yeah. So those who are facing the error of Microsoft Visual C++ 2019 redistributable package, you need to download it. You can Google it. You can simply Google search Microsoft Visual C++ 2019 package, and you should come across a software to download. You should download it and install it, and then you should try to reinstall VirtualBox. Then I think you will not face any issues. I hope you understood what I said. So try it out. Okay, try to Google the
Yeah,
error.
just
So
download it.
so from now on, so the thing is, you should learn the basic skill is Googling. You need to start learning. So whenever you face any issues, failures or errors, the basic thing that you need to do is Google the errors. Okay, Google it, and there are many users just like you who might have started and they might have already faced this issue, and they might have found solution. They might have posted it, the solutions. Okay,
Okay, okay, Karthik.
so that is the basic skill. So going forward, you need to learn this. Whenever you face any errors, learn to Google it and try to read the articles, and try to read the solutions that are posted online and try to follow those solutions. This is the basic skill and very important skill that you need to follow as an IT guy. Okay. So once the operating system is installed, we would cover this part. We will go through the basic commands and the file system architecture. Um, so yeah, I will try to uh, use some terms for your easy understanding. So in Windows, you use the words folders, right? In folders, you can store files, isn't it? In Windows operating system that you're using. So in Linux, you do not use the term folder. You do not use the word folder. Okay, you use a term called as directory, and within the directory, you will have another subfolders or direct subdirectories, or so within the directory you can store files. Okay, so this is an important point. Okay, do not try to confuse yourself I'm trying to repeat it again. So in the Linux operating system, just for your understanding purpose, this is not exactly true, because underlying concept could be much more different. So the term directory comes from actually the phone book. Initially, in the olden days, you used to have a phone book called as directory, phone directory, where you have the list of phone numbers and addresses of everybody. So the term directory comes from there actually, somewhere over there. But for your understanding purposes, in Linux operating system, directory is nothing but folder. Just remember that. And within that, you will have you can have files and other subfolders as well. Okay. So in Linux operating system, the slash, the symbol slash, is the parent folder. Okay. So this is also called as root folder. So do not confuse yourself. Root is a administrator user, and the slash that you see is also called as a root folder, but that is different again. So you simply call it, slash is nothing but a parent folder, that's all, under which you have all the other folders. So you can see slash root, under slash root means root is a folder under the folder slash, home is a folder under slash, bin is a folder under slash, sbin is a folder under slash, etc is a folder under slash. Okay. So you just need to remember slash is the parent folder, and it is called root folder because the term root comes from the word of a tree. A tree has a root systems, right? So the root, from the root, the branches pop out, so come out. So root or home or bin or sbin are like branches, and this is kind of a root. So yeah, we will see the purpose of these folders and what they mean, and what they can store. So each folder or the directory, the root or the home, they have a specific purpose and usage. They have a specific set of files and the specific purpose. We will try to understand them going forward. Let's see, where is the installation? My god, it is still ongoing. In the meanwhile, let's cover the theoretical part. So I hope you're understanding. We will see this once the installation is complete. We can see all of this in the operating system that is installed. So here you see in Red Hat 6, it is ext4 is the operating, the file system. The file system is like, let's try to understand what is a file system. If you take Windows operating system, you see NTFS file system or FAT32 if you use pen drives. So the file system, what is file system? The file system is nothing but when you have a hard disk, it is raw hard disk. You cannot store files directly on a raw hard disk. So the file system is like a layer of software on top of your hard disk, which will help you to structure your files and folders, manage your storage in a proper way. So the file system will help you to manage your files. Okay. So in Red Hat 6 version, you have ext4, in Red Hat 5 ext3, but in Red Hat 7, I believe the file system is XFS. So let's see. So when I'm using Red Hat 7, Red Hat 7 is CentOS 7 is nothing but a clone of Red Hat 7. Okay. So CentOS 7 file system. Preface. This is now the default file system in Red Hat 7. So when I searched for CentOS 7 file system, you see it is showing me, the first search is showing me for Red Hat 7, because basically they are clones. They are what do you say? Clone is nothing but a copy. I hope you understood what is the file system. Okay. A file system is nothing but it will allow you to, it's like a software, it will allow you to manage the files and directories or the folders on top of your raw hard disk. It will help you to manage the storage. So as I said, slash is the parent directory, also called as root partition. We will see that. So because under this you will have all the other folders. So boot is the startup config. Here the startup configuration files are stored here. So when you install the operating system, or when you start an operating system, it uses certain files, certain configuration files. So those configuration files are stored under boot. So let's suppose if you delete the boot folder, your operating system will be corrupted. It means you cannot start the operating system. So this is an important folder which contains the files that are needed for starting the Linux operating system that you installed. Okay. So /root. So if you see, when I installed the operating system, I created I asked root account. The root user account is by default created. Even in Windows, the administrator account is by default created. But for the normal user, I created myself. I used my name Karthik. You can use your own names, individual names. So when you create a user account, a folder with the same name will be created within the system. Okay, even if you take Windows, a folder with the same name will be created somewhere in the documents, you can see it, or somewhere in the C drive you can see a folder with the same name. So even in Linux it is the same. So even in Windows you will have administrator folder and a folder with your own name. Similarly in Linux operating system as well, for root user, a same name, a folder with the same name will be created, and for the normal user also a folder with the same name will be created. So it means within, once the operating system is installed, you should be able to see a folder with the name Karthik, and similarly you should be able to see a folder with the name root, but their locations will be varying. So let's see when what I mean by locations. Okay, so for the root, as the root user is the administrator, you would see the super user, you will see his home folder. We use the term home folder for the user because it is his personal folder. Okay, for it will be stored directly under the slash, but for normal users it will be stored under home. For example, for the user Karthik, it will be stored under home. Under home, a new folder will be created as Karthik. So let's suppose if we created Ben, Tom, John, they all are normal users and they will be their home folders will be created under home. Okay, so but for root is an administrator user, that is the reason why you will find it under slash. But for normal users, under slash you have home folder, under home folder again you have Ben, Tom and John. So it is like, for example, uh, it is like the owner lives in a separate house, individual house, and the normal users live in an apartment flats. It's just an analogy. Okay, uh, and the thing is, normal users cannot execute all commands. Normal users do not have all the privileges, as I said. So bin, sbin and usr bin, usr sbin commands are generally stored here. The commands are of different categories. You will see as we start using them. Okay, these are the folders. As I said initially, each folder or the directory has a specific purpose. So here we are seeing, now we are trying to understand the purpose of each and every folder. So this is important and very important because uh, every day you will be dealing with these folders or directories. Yeah, etc. This is where the configuration files are stored. So in the Linux operating system, which is the server operating system, on top of which going forward you will be configuring different stuff. So when you install an application or a software, the important configuration files by default will come into etc directory, etc folder. And var, this is where the log files are stored. Log files as in when, like for example, at which particular time what happened within your system. So generally when you go to your company or your office, you mention it, right? You log in or log out. So it means at what time you logged in, at what time you logged out. So it simply means the event logs will be stored in this var folder. So at what particular time, what happened, what event happened within your system will be stored here. This is very important because when you are troubleshooting different applications, you will have to go into var folder and find out the application specific folder. Under var, you will have subfolders, subdirectories, specific to the application, and then you will, within that subfolder, you will have to file the log files, and then open the log files and study um the logs, the events, at what time what happened, and you need to troubleshoot by understanding those logs. Okay, so dev is the folder where your devices are stored. So in Linux, everything is a file. Even when I use the term directory or the folder in Linux, even that is actually underlying, it is also considered as a file. Okay, so the hard disk, the devices like SDA is nothing but hard disk, your hard disk. Let's suppose if I connect my pen drive, it is another storage device. It will be detected as SDB. If I connect my hard disk, external USB hard disk, another hard disk, it will be shown as SDC. If I connect one more, then it will be shown as SDD. So SDA is a hard disk, SDB is one more hard disk, one more memory storage device, SDC is another storage device. So A, B, C. So the alphabets will be varying. Okay, so within the first hard disk, you can create partitions. So if you create partitions, you will be seeing them as SDA1, SDA2, SDA3, SDA4, SDB. If you create partitions in the SDB, SDB1, SDB2, SDB3. CD-ROM is like the DVD drive where you install your stuff. So generally, yeah, the device drivers are stored here. /lib libraries are stored here. So some of the what do you say, the configuration files are where you can edit the configuration for the applications, and user can edit these files. The libraries are like the core components of the applications. So it is like um, you should not edit this. If you edit these libraries, you are tweaking the application at an underlying level, and the application might not function properly. So when you install an application, the libraries related to that particular application are stored here. /mnt is a temporary mount point. So when you connect your devices, removable devices like DVD drive and DVD or CD, you generally mount them to /mnt. /media is also you can use for removable devices. By default, sometimes they directly get mounted into /media. /opt is third-party applications are stored here. Sometimes when you want to install third-party applications which are not inbuilt for your server operating system, which are created by some other guys, then you can use this folder to install those applications. /prog, the running processes information is stored here. So you should not touch this ideally, because these are dynamic. So mounting, what is mounting? Mounting is nothing but linking a partition with a directory, mount point. So for example, if you create SDA1, a partition, you cannot use it directly. You have to link it with a directory. Directory is nothing but a folder. So if you create a partition SDA1, you need to link it with a folder or a directory. Unless, so that particular folder is called as mount point. So if you do not link it, you cannot use that partition. We will see that going forward. Okay, so I hope you understood. Let's see the installation stage. So the installation is complete and it is asking me to reboot. So let's click on reboot. So capture, reboot. So we can use root user account to log in, or else we can use the normal user account that I created. So I gave the password and see I have logged in. So as you can see here, so it's Karthik. This is my username. Okay, and this is the @ symbol, and after this you see the server name, the host name of the host name. Uh, host name is nothing but the server name, CentOS hyphen server one. During the installation stage, I've used this. So in the tilde symbol represents the home directory of the user that which you logged in. This is the symbol tilde. Then this is the tilde symbol. Okay, that represents the home directory. So what is the home directory of the normal user Karthik? Where it should be? It should be stored under home, right? So it means slash home slash Karthik. So right now, so this represents the home directory of the Karthik user. So now if I give the command pwd is nothing but print working directory. So it means it will show me where I am, in which folder I'm currently located. So pwd is a command that I'm executing now. You can see slash home slash Karthik. So I am in this folder. So by default, when you log in with a particular user account, you will be in the home folder or the personal folder, that home folder of that particular user. Okay. So pwd is the first command that you learned in Linux today. So now let's see the command called as ls. ls is to list the files in your folder, in your current folder. So ls is a command to list the files or the folders in your current folder. There are none. So there are no files. So, but I told you slash is the parent folder, right? As I told you, slash is the parent folder. It means it should contain all these folders: root, home, bin, sbin, etc, var. So let's see. Let's verify that. ls space and give the parent folder name. The parent folder is what? The parent folder name is slash, a symbol. Okay, slash is the symbol. This is the forward slash, not backward slash. ls slash, and you can see all the folders within it: bin, dev, home. So are you able to follow?
Yeah, Karthik.
Okay, cool. So once you answer, always try to mute yourself. Okay. So that you can avoid resound or something, some other noises. Okay, so you can see all the folders. So as I said, slash is a parent folder and ls is a command to list the files within your folder or within some other folder. So if you want to list the contents of some other folder, ls space, and you need to give the full path of that particular folder. ls and slash I gave. So let's suppose if I want to list the files of etc, okay, or home. Let's see under home. So under home, you should be able to see the Karthik folder, right? Because it all the normal users folder should be under home. So ls slash and home. So you can see Karthik folder. Let's suppose I will create another user. User add is a command, user add, and I will give then. Okay. I do not have the permission. You see, even though Karthik is, I gave administrative privileges, he is not able to run the user add command. So what I will do is I can switch to root user account. But to switch to root user account, you can use sudo space -i. And it is asking the password for the particular user. So yeah, I gave a. I gave. So you can use sudo -i only for the users who have administrative privileges. Karthik has, when I was in during the installation stage, I gave him administrative privileges. So that is the reason why he is able to use the command sudo space -i, and then I am able to switch to the root user account. So now I'm, if you see, I logged in as a root user, root. Okay. So whenever, whatever the user account with which you log in, you will always see to the left of the @ symbol, and to the right of the @ symbol, you will see the server name, CentOS server name, and you can see tilde symbol always represents the home directory of the user with which you logged in. So the as I told you, every user has a home folder with the same name of the user account. So the user account root will also have a home folder with the same name root. So it should be for the root user, the house is separate. As I said, he has a different directly under slash pwd slash root, as you can see. Okay, so yeah, now let's try to run the command user add then. Now I should be able to run it. Now let's try to ls slash home. You should be able to see a folder for then is also created, a home folder. Okay, so today we basically try to understand the file system structure and some of the basic commands. We have seen the installation of CentOS operating system, and you saw the basic commands like ls to list the commands, pwd to list the current home directory, and the user add command to create a user, and sudo -i is used to switch to the root user. Okay, so these are some of the basic commands: pwd, ls, and what are the other basic commands? Let's see: ls, cd, pwd, mkdir, attach cat, headless. Okay, let's see all of this. Control. So I used Control L to clear the screen, or else you can use clear command as well. That will clear the screen. Okay, Control L can clear your screen.